Welcome to Halachot of Niddah. This will be part 7 of the class. Today's topic is differences, Torah versus rabbinical. In the previous class, in part 6 of the class, we started seeing that there are times when a woman can become tameh from the Torah, and there are times when a woman can become tameh on a rabbinical level. We asked a question: if a woman is tameh from the Torah or from the rabbis, in both situations, the husband is not allowed to be with her. So what do I care if it's from the Torah or from the rabbis? Today, Rabotai, we're going to go ahead and try to see that there is a very big difference if a woman is impure from the Torah or if a woman is impure from the rabbis. Very, very big difference. It's like the earth and the heavens. So we're going to start today, there's going to be new terminology we're going to start learning, and I'm going to show you also pictures that I was able to get off Google. So Rav David Yosef Shlita begins to answer that question. In the Sefer Taharat Abayit, Le-halacha, when it comes to halacha, when it comes to the letter of the law, Ein hevdel ben niddah temeh min Torah leben niddah temeh mid'Rabbanan. There is no difference if a woman is impure from the Torah or if a woman is impure from the rabbis. There is no difference li'inyan dinei shvat nikim in regards to the laws of the 7 clean days. I will explain. U'tevila, and going to the mikvah. Ve'harchakot, and staying away from one another. And similar to this, we'll start Be'ezrat Hashem B'li as we go along. We'll start seeing more in detail. But all Rav David Yosef Shlita is saying is like this: that if a woman became tameh from the Torah, or if a woman became tameh from the rabbis, in both of the cases, the laws are going to be identical when it comes to 7 clean days. And when it comes for her to go to the mikvah, and also the laws of separation apply equally whether she is impure from the Torah or whether she is impure from the rabbis. Now let's try to take it one step at a time. What is Shiv'ah Nikim? What does it mean, the 7 clean days? Okay. Now, Rabotai, in order for us to understand how to go ahead and calculate the 7 clean days, we first have to remember, it says in the Torah, Vahi Erev, Vahi Boker Yom Echad. It was evening and it was day, and it was day 1. That means to say our day really starts at night. Our day does not start during the day. So one more time. Our day starts at night. For example, if today is Wednesday, which is today is Yom Rivi'i, and Hebrew, you have to always go by the Hebrew calendar, by the way, and not the English calendar. When you're calculating the mikvah dates, always go by the Hebrew calendar. So today's Yom Rivi'i is the 4th day. Now, what I just said is Yom Rivi'i, which is today's a Wednesday. Now, if I'll say Leil Rivi'i, if I say the 4th night, when do you think the night of the 4th is? Let's put it like that. When do you think the 4th of the night is? When I tell you the 4th of the day, you're going to tell me, Rabbi, it's Wednesday during the day. But when I tell you the 4th of the night, when is the 4th of the night? So halachically, the 4th of the night is Tuesday night. Because remember, our day begins at night, not Thursday night. Thursday night is already the 5th night. I'm sorry, not Thursday night, I'll take that back. Wednesday night is already the 5th night. Thursday morning is the 5th day. You see how it works? One more time. Tuesday night is the 4th night from the week. Wednesday day is the 4th day. Wednesday night is the 5th night of the week. Thursday morning is the 5th day. So our day starts at night. Now, why is this very important to know? As you guys can see in front of me, I do have a calendar. Baruch Hashem, I was able to find this calendar on Google, by the way. If you guys see over there, if you see it says Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos. Now look into the calendar right over here where my cursor is Sunday. Pay close attention, Rabotai. What makes the day, right here, there we go, I was able to highlight it, very nice. What makes the day Sunday? If you pay attention over here, right over here, you see guys, I try to highlight it right over this, right here, the blank white line. Right over here. Okay. This right over here says on top Saturday night, and it says Sunday. That means Saturday night and Sunday is really one day. Meaning that's by us it's going to be Yom Rishon. When you go to Monday, when we move to the day Monday, I'm just going to show you, Rabotai, you'll see it's beautiful. When you go to Monday, in Monday, which is by us Yom Rishon, what's included in that first day? I'm sorry, Yom Sheni. Sunday is Yom Rishon, I apologize. Monday is Yom Sheni, it's the second day of the week. What's included in Yom Sheni? Sunday night, as you guys can see, the dark pink. And then Monday day, right over here. Monday day, you see where it says number 1? That means that this Monday, which is the second day of the week, is really also one day. And so on and so forth. You're going to move like that to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbat. That's how it works. Our day starts at night and our day finishes by sunset. So Saturday night is the first of the week, the first day of the week. Sunday day after, when the stars come out, that's where the first day of the week ends. Sunday night begins the second day of the week. All right. Just to make sure you guys have it, let's do Tuesday. You look into Tuesday. Tuesday, which is called Yom Shlishi, is the third day of the week. What's included in the day Tuesday? Monday night and Tuesday. See that? It's in one box. You have the pink, the dark pink, and you have the white column. The pink column and the white column. This means it's one day. So on and so forth. Now, why did we come over here? Because we want to understand how does the Shiva Nikim, how does a woman have to start counting 7 clean days? Shiva literally means 7, Niki'i means clean. All 7 days must be clean. How does it work? Now, Rabotai, as we go on, we'll see more halachot in depth into this, how this whole thing works, why you have to keep 72 hours before you have to do a bidika, before you have to check yourself. We'll try to see that Bilineda later on. I just want to try to stick just to get the understanding of what is the Shiva Nikim. So Rabotai, let's do this. Let's say a woman saw her period. Here we go, Rabotai. Let's say a woman saw her period on Monday, which is the second day of the week. A woman saw her period on Monday during the day. Right over here. Right over here. You see where my cursor is? Right over here. Where it says number 1, that's the first day. Again, she didn't see it Sunday night. She saw it during Monday. And let's say 12 o'clock. Let's say she saw the period. Afternoon. Now, the day that she sees the period, that's going to be day 1 of her counting. But one second, but you don't have Sunday night, right? You don't have this highlighted pink area. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We give her that full 1 day. We'll see this halachot Be'ezrat Hashem Rabotai. Now, once she sees her period, now she has to count. Some opinions hold you have to hold 4 days. Some opinions you have to hold 5 days. We'll see this halachot inside, whatever it is. Bottom line is, if a woman sees blood, until she stops, she cannot do the internal checking. So let's just keep it 5 days, what has over the calendar. I'm just going to stay with 5 days. So Rabotai, on day 1, meaning on Monday, she saw blood. Therefore, Rabotai, how do we start counting? Monday night and Tuesday day is going to be day 2. Wednesday, which is Tuesday night, and Wednesday day is going to be day 3, as you guys can see on the calendar. Thursday, the day itself, which is Wednesday night and Thursday, is going to be day 4 of the count that she is unclean, she is impure. Friday, which is Thursday and Friday, now you're going to start understanding why we're counting from the night and why it's so important to know. And this is why I want you to use a Jewish calendar. Now, by Friday, which is the 5th day of the week, she has to do a hefsek tahara. Like we spoke about it before. She takes that white cloth and she does an internal checking before sunset. We'll see the halacha says she has to leave it inside of herself until about 15 minutes pass, and then she has to take it out. I know it might be uncomfortable, but we'll see those halachot later on, Be'ezrat Hashem. But as of now, Rabotai, this woman, she saw blood on Monday. She counts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday before sunset, she has to do an internal checking. Now, before you check, strongly suggest you wash yourself, not to make it more problematic, because remember, it's not the first one that you're going to have to put in and that's the one that's going to come out clean. No, you have to continue checking. You have to clean yourself out until you see no blood. So that's what you want to try to do before sunset. Rabotai, we'll see all these halachot in depth. I'm just going ahead of myself right now, which I shouldn't be doing. So this woman started seeing blood on Monday. She stopped seeing blood on Friday, which is the 5th day. We tell her she has to start doing the bidika. She does the bidika. She does the internal checking before sunset. Now, once that is done, remember now that's Friday day. You see right over here, number 5? That's Friday day. Friday night and Saturday day is going to be day 1 of her clean day. Now we're starting to count Shiva'at Niki'im, the 7 clean days. Which is Shabbos basically is going to be day 1 of her clean day. Moving down to Sunday, day 2 is going to be Sunday. Monday is going to be day 3. Tuesday is going to be day 4. Wednesday is going to be day 5 of her 7 clean days. Thursday is going to be day 6. Friday is going to be day 7. Now, why is it important once more? Why is it so important that we start the night before? It's because now, Rabotai, on Friday, once again, in all of these days, we'll see that there's opinions that some opinion hold. She has to do the bidika. She has to do an internal checking on day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, morning and evening, meaning morning and before sunset. 2 times every single day. Some opinion hold if it's hard 1 and 7. Some opinion holds even 1. But Rabotai, I don't want to get into those halachot right now. If you have any questions, Rabotai, as usual, please ask your local rabbi or rebbitzin. If you want, you can ask, if you have questions, you could put it on the bottom, and if it's going to come across me, which I usually get it from DJ Abraham, he usually sends me the comments, so I'll try to answer as Be'ezrat Hashem b'leneder. So, the bottom line, what we want to see over here is like this. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On day 7, once we know that she's 100% clean, she hasn't seen any blood in those 7 clean days. Now you're going to see why it's important that we start counting the night and not the day. Why? Because once on Friday day, she checks herself before, meaning before sunset, and she sees she's clean, Friday night, which is basically Shabbos, Friday night, she's allowed to go to the mikveh. Now, if this sounds confusing, I want to try to simplify it. It might be confusing only because we are used to the English calendar, right? Day, night. But by the Jewish calendar, it's night, day. That's why. But I'll make it very simple. The rule is like this. The rule of thumb is like this. Whatever day she does the bidika, whatever day she does the hefsek tahara, the internal checking, from after she stops seeing blood, that same day, on that night of the day, she's going to have to go to the mikvah. So watch this. If Friday, she did the hefsek tahara, she did the internal checking, after she stopped seeing 5 days of blood, she did the internal checking, she did it when Friday day. That means Friday night, she's going to the mikvah. That's how simple it is. Let me use another day. Let's say a woman stopped seeing her period on Monday. She stopped seeing the period. So she did the hefsek tahara on Monday before sunset. When does she go to the mikvah? She's going to go to the mikvah on Monday night. Rabotai, this is how it's going to work. It's very simple. Because we're calculating night, day. So if a woman did the hefsek, the internal checking to see if she's clean or not, on Wednesday, before sunset, when does she go to the mikvah? The following week on Wednesday night. That's it, Rabotai. That is the rule of thumb. You should never get confused. All right. Now that we got through that, let's go back over here. So that's what Rav David Yosef Shita is telling us over here. When it comes to that, if a woman is tameh from the Torah, or if a woman is tameh from the rabbis, when it comes to the laws of Shiva Nikim, which I just explained, there's no difference, they're identical. Now remember, we learned the 6, 2 were from the Torah, that she becomes tameh from the Torah, and 4 cases were, actually 2 cases from the rabbis, and we had other 2 cases, suffix or not. We did that in part 6 of the class. Now, after a woman does the Shiva Nikim, once she finishes the Shiva Nikim over here, on day 7, we say on Friday night she has to go to the mikvah. What is a mikvah? Mikvah literally means to gather. It's where we gather water. Let me just see over here if I have it. 1 second. Right here. Rabotai, this is a mikvah. Now, one rabbi pointed out something beautiful. A mikvah, if you ever pay attention, I don't know if men go to the mikvah, but if you go to the mikvah, women for sure must go. Men are not obligated. It's a good thing, but you're not obligated. But if you ever go to the mikvah, if you pay attention, the mikvah is almost up to your chest, or a little bit below your chest. But the question the rabbi asked was very beautiful. Why make it so difficult for the woman to dip? Why not let's make it up to her shoulder? Because remember, women have long hair. So this is very important. When a woman dips, after she takes a shower, after we'll see the preparation that she has to do, she has to make sure that her hair is first wet. So this way they sink in. Because if one strand of hair is sticking out of the mikvah, chas v'shalom, her husband is sleeping with a nidah. So that's why you have a woman watching her, make sure that she completely goes inside. But the question this rabbi asked is, if we're so concerned with a hair sticking out of the woman, why not make the mikvah up to the shoulders, or better yet, make a mikvah like a real pool. Make it 6 feet deep. Let her be able to dive inside. I know when she goes inside, she's going to come out, she's 100% pure. Why did they have to make it below the chest area, or even better, why do they have to make it closer to the waist area? Why? So he says something beautiful. In order to be able to succeed, in order for a woman to be able to have a successful marriage, the mikvah is teaching her, she must bow down. She has to go all the way down. She has to be humbled before her husband. If a woman is able to be humbled before her husband, whenever he speaks, again, not against halakha, but whenever the husband says something and she agrees with him, Rabotai, you should know that's going to be the most successful marriage. Again, I'm not telling you chas v'shalom it's a one way. They both have to agree, but I'm trying to point out a picture. Why did the rabbis of blessed memory make a mikvah that low? Make it up to here, make it up to here. Why up to the waist area? Why up below the chest area? To teach the woman that in order to succeed in a relationship, especially in marriage, you must humble. You have to bring your head down. When you bring your head down, you're going to be very successful in a relationship. One time, I heard a woman say something fascinating. She said, I chose my husband to be my husband. Since I chose him to be my husband, I will treat him like the king of the world. And whatever he says, I will do because I chose him. And he's the father of my kids. And I'll try to do everything in my power to make sure that he's happy. But she doesn't realize, Rabotai, when she does that, the husband in return has to now make her feel like a queen. And this is the beauty, Rabotai, of relation. And this is what the Rambam says. The Rambam brings this down in the Halachot of relationships with a guy and a girl, that a woman must know what her husband desires. A woman needs to do like this, whatever, like a king. When a king speaks, it's fulfilled. That's how a woman has to look at the husband. In that way, Rabotai, the husband is going to be able to go ahead and treat the wife even better. Unfortunately, today not everybody understands this. They think, oh, women are lower, chas v'shalom. Nobody's telling you women are lower, women are high. No, Rabotai. Marriage, it takes two to make the marriage work. So, Rabotai, the point of the mikveh is you humble yourself, you'll see you're going to have a very successful relationship. Okay. Now, let's go back to the halachot. Okay, so that's all Rav David Yosef Shita wanted to bring down over here. That when it comes that if a woman is coming from the rabbis, or if she's coming from the Torah, the laws are going to be identical when it comes to the 7 clean days, and when it comes to for her to go ahead and dip into the mikvah. And also we did mention v'harchakot, separations, they're identical. You can pass things to your wife, you can play with your wife, you can eat from the same food. We'll see all these halachot be'ezrat Hashem b'li neder. Okay, now, so if we see, now we're actually getting into the beauty of the halakha right now. So now that if we see that the halachot with the tumah and the tahara are identical, meaning not tumah tahara, if now we see that the halachot when a woman is coming from the Torah and when a woman is coming from the rabbis, they're identical when it comes to 7 clean days, when it comes to going to the mikveh, they're identical laws, and when it comes that we have to separate from one another, they're identical. So why do you have Torah law and why do you have the rabbinic law? So here we go. There is a very big difference, and this is very important to know. Ulam, however, Hachamim kav'u kama hagdarot be'inyan tumat nida hatmeya tumat ketem d'Rabbanan. The rabbis of blessed memory, they fixed a few boundaries when you're dealing with a woman who's tameh, where she's impure only because of a rabbinical stain. Rabotai, let me try to give you an introduction. If a woman is a Torah level niddah versus if a woman is a rabbinical level niddah, it really depends on the size of the blood that they see. For example, Rabotai, let me just go back for a second. Let me see something. Here. We spoke about in part 6 of the class, one of the ways that a woman can become tameh if she felt an opening of the uterus. We said she's tameh from the Torah. That was case number 1. Case number 2, that she's tameh from the Torah, that if she felt her body shivering. These 2 cases from the Torah. But then we brought another case, which is from the rabbis, that if a woman felt something moist, something liquidy going down her body, we said that's from the rabbis. Also, we spoke about that if a woman saw a stain on her body or on her clothing, but she didn't have any sensation, we said that's also tameh from the rabbis. Now, Rabotai, listen to this very carefully. So let's just use these 2 cases. 2 cases from the Torah, she's tameh. 2 cases from the rabbis, she's tameh. Now, watch this. When she's tameh from the Torah, do you know the size of the blood that has to come out of her? Do you know how much that size has to be? That size can be the size of the pin of a needle. If a woman felt an opening of the uterus, or she felt shivering, she had that sensation, and she checks herself, and she sees on the bidika cloth, Rabotai, let me just 1 second. I'm going to make this dot a little bit bigger, but even smaller than this. You see that dot? Again, it's supposed to be red. Even if the most minute blood, if a woman sees after having those sensations, she's coming from the Torah. But when it comes to rabbinical law, that's not enough. When it comes to rabbinical law, do you know what's going to make her tummy? Because she has no sensation. She felt something liquidy coming out, or she didn't pay attention. She saw blood on her thighs, like say on her inner thigh, or on her undergarment, and it has to be white, but she had no sensation. In order for her to become Tamei Rabbi Sai, she has to see it 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters? Let me show you. Right here. Rabotai, I was able to go and I was looking, how can I show you the stain? So I was able to find this ring sizes. It's nuts. Rabotai, the Torah is so feasible. You could learn Torah so easy with pictures. You have any idea what Hashem is doing for us? Okay, just for this alone, Rabotai, you have to thank Hashem. Okay, so Rabotai, watch this. You see over here this U? The U all the way to the right, where it says 20 millimeters. This is the U. This is the circle. Now, if you look on the bottom, right over on the bottom, to the right of the corner, to the right over here where the cursor is, it says that's 2 centimeters. 20 millimeters is really 2 centimeters. Now, what do I want to show? Rabbinically, in order for the woman to be tameh, if she has to see 20 millimeters of a stain plus. Rabotai, that means if a woman sees the stain of T, you see the stain right here, T, smaller than U, which is 19.7 millimeters, she had no sensation, she found blood on her underwears, she looks at it, she measures it, she sees that is not the diameter, it's not 20 millimeters, it's 19.7 millimeters, or less than 2 centimeters, she's not tameh. Rabotai, do you see that there is a difference when a woman becomes tameh from the rabbis? Meaning that there is a difference if she can become rabbinically impure versus Torah impurity. In order for her to become rabbinically impure, all this that we've been saying right now over here, that there's no difference between a woman who's tameh on a Torah level or rabbinical level. That rabbinical level, that's only if she saw 20 millimeters of stain on a white garment. But we're going to see, but if she saw 20 or she saw 20, or let's say 22, the Z, or she saw 40 millimeters on a colored garment, she's still not tameh. Why, Rabotai? Because she had no sensation. Do you see how important it is to know when is something from the Torah, when is something from the rabbis? It's very important. A woman is going to think, oh, she saw blood. She had no sensation. She didn't feel her uterus open up. She didn't feel shivering. She went to the bathroom. She sees on her white underwear the size of 19.7 millimeters. I'm tameh. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're 100% allowed to be with your husband. And this, Rabotai, is why we need to learn the halachot correctly. All these halachot, Rabotai, if you look into the Shulchan Aruch, when you learn the Shulchan Aruch itself, they lengthen on this. It's back and forth. In any event, Rav David Yosef Shuta is making it easier for us to understand. So let's go back over here. Let's go back. So, this that we said that if a woman is tameh from the Torah and if a woman is tameh from the rabbis, that there's no difference when it comes to the laws of 7 clean days, and her going to the mikveh, and when they have to be separated from one another, that specifically if a woman saw a stain of 20 millimeters and more from the rabbis, that's when she's going to be tameh, and if she had no sensation. But from the Torah, Rabotai, once she has a sensation, even if it's a small blood, and even if it's on a colored garment, she's tameh from the Torah. You see the differences? So one more time. We're going to see this inside also. From the Torah, once she has a sensation, the most minute blood, even on a colored garment, she's impure. From the rabbis, it has to be on a white garment, and the stain has to be at the very least 20 millimeters, which is 2 centimeters. If it's not that, if I have one of them is missing, she's not tameh. She's still tahor. How many people, Rabotai, just be honest with yourself, how many of us know these halachot? We go to yeshiva, we go to party, we go to play, we listen to a lot of shalom bayit shiurim. How many of us know the basic halachot of niddah, which is life-threatening, which is karet? These laws are correct. It's not a joke. How many of us know this? But this is it, Rabotai. This is it. We're living in the Olam HaSheker. That's all it is. We're living in the life of Sheker. Whatever's going to bring more people, that's what we're going to teach. Whatever's going to bring less people, we're going to stay away from. Whatever. That's how, unfortunately, it works today. Okay. Rabotai, so let's go back over here. Ulam Hachamim Kavu. Let's go back over here. Ulam, however, Chachamim Kavu, the rabbis of blessed memory, they established, Kama HaGedarot Bein Tumat Niddah Temeh Tumat Ketem Derabanan. The rabbis, when it came to a woman being tameh, when a woman is in a state of niddah, and that the tumah had to be a stain from the rabbis, they made boundaries around it. For example, kigon. Let's understand this. Here we go. Kigon. She'ena teme'a el im ken haya ketem bikoter shel yoter mishur 20 millimeter. A woman, according to the boundary of the Chachamim, the rabbis gave you a rule from their law. When are we going to say a woman is tameh? A woman can only be tameh if she had a stain which is the diameter of 20 millimeters plus. This right here, this you right, 20 millimeters plus, which is 2 centimeters. So once she's going to have U, V, W, X, Y, Z, any size higher than this, Rabotai, that's it. From U and on, from the circle U and on, from 20 millimeters and on, she's tameh d'Rabbanan. So he says over in parentheses, shnei centimeters, 20 millimeters is shnei centimeters. So Rav David Yosef goes ahead and he says, I want to just try to clarify something. And he says, V'hainu biketem agol. All this is good when you're dealing with a round stain. Now, you have to be honest with yourself. How many times is a woman going to see a round stain? I mean, excuse me. What are the chances that a woman is going to go ahead and have a perfect round stain where I'm going to be able to go ahead and in that diameter, I'm going to be able to tell you that, oh, she's impure from the rabbis. Why? Who told you? Maybe the blood is going to smear on her undergarment. Or she looks on her body and it's on her thigh and it's, it's smeared on her thigh. It's not a perfect circle. It could be oval. It could be square. It could be one long line. I don't know. So what happened? What do I do there? Okay. Rav David tells us, don't worry about that. We'll make it like this. So he says, all this that we're speaking about, that's if it's in a perfect, case, when it's round. But he says, V'im eino agol. What happens if it's not round? It's not round. What am I supposed to do? It's spread, or it's oval, or if it's squared. I don't know. So he says, no problem. You need to have the area which includes that measurement of what we mentioned above. Now, let's put it to you like this. If I have an oval, I don't think I have a picture. Did I make a picture? No. Okay. Let's do this. 1 second, guys. Let me try to see if I can do it. All right, let me try to see if I could do this. So we've been speaking about this whole time. Okay. We've been speaking this whole time that if it's a perfect circle, it has to be 20 millimeters. Okay, 20 millimeters. Now, what happens if it's oval? It's not round, but it's like this. What happens if it's like this? Like a football right over here. Look at oval shape right here. Opala. This area right here. All right. What are we going to do? Rav David Yosef is going to tell you that you have to be able to measure this stain, that it has to come out to the same measure of 20 millimeters. That means that if I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start condensing the blood, if I have to go ahead and I have to take the blood from here, let's say if I were to right now take this corner, is it going to be able to fill up? 1 second. If I have to go ahead and I have to take these two corners right over here, this one, or this little bit right here, if I have to fill it up over here and over here, the circle, if the circle by me, if I have to look with my eye, if I'm able to go ahead and tell you that if I would go ahead and make this like a real circle, and I'm going to have 20 millimeters, I'm going to tell you then she's tummy. But what happens if I look at this oval shape, and no, it's not coming out to 20 millimeters, it's coming out to 19.7. No, so then she's not tummy. Or what happens if a woman had blood, she saw blood, let me do another picture. She saw blood like this on her underwear, like this, spread out evenly, like whatever, it doesn't matter. Same thing about, I have to make sure that this, if I want to go ahead and I have to make the area, it has to be able to fit into the area of the U. That if I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to combine them together, if I want to make it a real circle of 20 millimeters, and I'm not able to make that whole area, then we're going to tell you she's not tameh. So that's what Rav David Yosef Shlita is telling us over here. That in the perfect world, when the stain is a goal, is 20 millimeters, which are 2 centimeters. But if it's not a goal, you need to have the area which is going to include the ketem, like the measurement what we mentioned above, which is supposed to be 20 millimeters, which is 2 centimeters, right over here. So if you look at the bottom right over here, let's say this right here where it says 0 millimeters to 2 centimeters. Let's say the blood is like that. You cannot make her tummy. Why? Because remember, I have to be able to take this blood and put it into the circle of the U. If I'm not able to put it into the area of 20 millimeters, it doesn't give me, because remember, it has to be solid. If it's not solid, 20 millimeters, like a perfect circle, and the way we see it, you can't make her tummy. So therefore, she's tahor. So that's what basically Rav David Yosef Shlita is teaching us over here. Continues Rav David Yosef. That's point number 1. Look at this from the rabbis, Rabotai. All this is still from the rabbis. So to a woman is not going to be tameh unless she saw this stain, let's say this perfect stain of 20 millimeters, on a white garment. Remember, always speak about a that where she has no sensation. She either felt something liquid coming down her body, or she just paid attention. She saw it on her undergarment, or on her blanket, or on her thigh. She paid attention that she has blood the size of 20 millimeters. We're going to tell you when is she tameh, that specifically if it's on a white garment. Velo al beged tivuni, but not on a colored garment. If it's on a colored garment, she's not impure. She's still 100% pure. Do you see the difference between when she has to become tameh rabbinically versus if she's tameh from the Torah law? Furthermore, kama hagadarot. Furthermore, he says there's many more boundaries. Also, there's many more laws. All these halachot are going to be explained later on Be'ezrat Hashem in the laws of stain. We still didn't get to it. This is just like an introduction. So all this was when a woman is tameh from the rabbis. Ulam, however, Benida temeh min Torah, when you're dealing with a woman who's in niddah that's going to become tameh from the Torah, afilu im haya ketem adam katan biyoter, Even if the stain of the blood was very small. Even if it was on a colored garment. She's considered to be tameh. She needs to go ahead and she has to do the hefsek tahara. She has to do the internal checking, like we explained on day 5. Will it bowl, like we explained, she has to then count 7 clean days and then go to the mikvah. Rabotai, so we do see over here that there is a very big difference. When Rav David Yosef Shlita tells us all these laws that you have to know when a woman is coming from the Torah versus when a woman is coming from the rabbis, a woman is coming from the Torah once she has an opening of the uterus and once she feels shivering, the most minute blood that's going to come out of her, on even a colored garment, she's tameh. She has to count 5 days or 4 days, we'll see, B'ezrat Hashem, plus 7 clean days, then she has to go to the mikvah. But when it comes to Tumah D'Rabbanan, when it comes from the rabbinical impurity, she has to make sure she has to become Tumah D'Rabbanan, which is what? She has to see the ketem of 20 millimeters, this you right over here. And it has to only be on a colored garment. I'm sorry, and it only has to be on a white garment. And if it's on a colored garment, she's 100% tahor. Okay. Wow, Rabotai, that is a lot. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, we're able to move forward. Now, again, Rabotai, small review, no difference in main laws. All right? If a woman is coming from the Torah, I'm going to just read it right now for you in English, but if a woman is coming from the Torah or from the rabbis, once they're really tummy in that Tumah D'Rabbanan, there's no difference in the main laws. So let's see like this. For a woman who is a Niddah, which means impure, whether it's from the Torah or whether it's only rabbinic, the rules are the same. She must count 7 clean days. She must go to the mikvah. She must keep the separation rules, not touching, etc. Now, there is a difference between how does a woman become tameh from the Torah versus how does a woman become tameh from the rabbis. So he says difference when it comes to stains, ktamim. But the rabbis made extra rules when the niddah is only from a stain. This is rabbinical, Rabotai. She's not impure unless the stain is big enough, more than 20 millimeters, about 2 centimeters in size, if round. However, if not round, the area must add up to this size of 20 millimeters. So that's what we're trying to speak about. What happens if it's, right? What happens if it's like this? What happens if it's oval shape? You have to make sure that this is going to be able to go ahead and it's going to be able to add up to the size of 20 millimeters. If not, she's not tameh. Continues also another important point when it comes to becoming tameh d'Rabbanan. Not only does it have to be 20 millimeters, but also the stain must be on a white garment, not on a colored garment. If a woman sees, let's say, you see this cup? If a woman sees this much blood on a colored garment, on red, on black, on anything which is not white, we're going to tell you she's 100% tahor. And the other way around, if she sees blood on a white garment, but it's under 20 millimeters, we're going to tell you she is still tahor. All right, so let me just sum that up one more time. If a woman sees this much blood on a colored garment, we're going to tell you she is tahor. If a woman sees less than 20 millimeters on a white garment, we're going to tell you she is still tahor. That was rabbinical level niddah. Torah level niddah. But if it is a Torah level blood, then even if the blood spot is tiny, or even if it is on a colored clothing, she's considered niddah and she must make a hefsek tahara, check to start purity, count 7 clean days, and go to the mikvah. The rule, Rabotai, Torah Niddah, any drop of blood anywhere makes her Niddah. Because remember, what does it mean Torah Niddah? She felt her uterus opening up, or she felt shivering. Rabbinic Niddah, which is basically, she becomes rabbinically impure because of the stains. When are we going to say that? Only if the stains is 2 centimeters plus and on white clothing, etc. Otherwise, Rabotai, she's considered to still be pure. Have a great day. Baruch